So again, good morning, good afternoon, everyone.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
So let me share the book. Can you all see it?
Yes.
Yes, good. I'll just put it side by side with the window where I can see people. Okay. So last week we stopped here. We are on chapter 3, methodology. And we went this far with GUILHERME. So we're starting today from item 20. And a quick reminder that this is a study. We go through the text, but please feel free to raise your hand anytime and discuss and put your views there. As I said before, it is a study and not a lecture or anything similar. So starting then 20, we must distinguish between two classes of materialists. In the first class are those who are theoretical materialists. There is no doubt in them, but rather absolute denial, arrived at through their own reasoning. In their view, humans are nothing more than a machine that functions while assembled, and which breaks down and leaves only a skeleton at death. I believe, all of us know a couple of people who are like that. They have their ideas, their theories, they believe in that, and, they are sure about that, and to them, life is nothing more than, a mechanical process or biological process, I would say. And when we die, that's it, that's the end. They are very much convinced because they have their own theory to support them. Their number is happily quite restricted, and they do not represent an openly declared school of thought. We do not need to point out the deplorable effects that would result from the social order if some such doctrine were popularized. We have dealt with this matter quite sufficiently in the Spirits book, number 147 and section 3 of the conclusion. So this is the first time that Kardec mentions here, theoretical materialists. They have their own theory, they believe in their theory, and they live by the theory. When we stated that disbelievers stop doubting when faced with a rational explanation, we must make an exception of radical materialists who deny every power and any intelligent principle apart from matter. So, Kardec says, radical materialists, radical anything, it's difficult to talk to them, to convince them, because you can place a white elephant in front of them, they will deny that, they will find other explanation for that, but they won't accept that they have a white elephant in front of them. These are the radical ones. Most of them hold to their opinion out of pride and believe that they must maintain it out of self-respect. They persist in it in spite of all evidence to the contrary, because they do not want to lose face. Nothing can be done with people like these. No one should be fooled by their false expression of sincerity when they say, "Show me, and I will believe it." Then again, there are those who are more honest, who bluntly say, "Even if you show me, I won't believe it." So basically, this is the position of radical materialists. Some, are honest enough to say, to admit, no matter what you do, I won't believe. I stick to my, beliefs or theories. And some of them, they just say, well, show me. And in the end, they are not prepared to accept. As I said, you place a white elephant in front of them, they will say, if they see the elephant, they will say, you've painted the elephant. It is not naturally one. They will find an explanation, but they won't accept the evidence. And sometimes even deny what would be the most natural, simple, straightforward explanation, because it goes against what they believe or their theories, so they discard it immediately. So Kardec says, don't be fools and don't waste your time, basically. Okay? Number 21, the second class of materialists, which is much more numerous than the first class, since materialism is an unnatural sentiment, includes those who are such out of indifference and, we might add, out of a lack of something better. These have not deliberately chosen materialism, and their greatest desire is to believe, for they are tormented by uncertainty. We see some people that they are materialists because they couldn't find anything better to be or to believe. But they are not totally convinced by that. They have to fit in somewhere. And naturally, they feel that, the materialist view probably predominant around them. And because they don't want to make the effort to go after the answers, you see, okay, I'm fine here. I don't need to believe, to, live my life, my daily life. So, I don't miss these ideas of survival or whatever. I'm fine where I, so they are materialists because they lack something better. Some of us may be surrounded or live in a materialist society, surrounded by materialist people, but some of us we feel inside this drive to find some answers. Well, at least I felt like that. I wasn't convinced by some, uh, uh, some answers, some explanation that to me, they weren't, the right answers for the questions that I had. But some people, they're happy, oh, fine. I don't need to, I don't need God to live my daily life, but inside, when they go through difficult moments, they perhaps even envy those who believe in something, believe in God. They say, oh, I wish I could have this belief, but, I would find myself, in a sort of silly position if I started to believe, something that is not natural to me. So, this type of, as Caldas says, they are like that because they lack of something better. Highness.
Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. Guys, now with this subject on materialism, Muni, definitely, I believe that everywhere in the world that you turn now, all the ideals, all the narrative, everything, you turn the television on, you hear someone on the radio, all of what we hear, all of what we see has a materialistic idea through it. And I think we just need to be quite aware of this, I think, because I believe we are in an era that began very strongly in the days of Kardec, of spread of materialism, and we are in an era where materialism is just as its strongest. So we see with all these, ideas of consuming, ideas of health, what health is very connected to the idea of the body is just, we are only a machine. So this is what today, that is what I see. I see it everywhere. I see it everywhere. And with the vocabulary we use today as well, it's very, very materialistic. It's like going to the extreme. And I just want to kind of highlight that as we are discussing the subject, in the book now, starting to discuss it. So just for us to be aware that the world where we are living today, every single thing, and for us to be aware of this, that's all. Thank you, Monique.
Thank you, Liz. Yes, you see, we are in a material world. Our immediate impressions come from matter. It's natural to, to look around and say, well, I don't need to, I don't need a God to, see what we have around. If I open someone, I won't find a soul. You see, so these are the immediate quick impressions that we get from the world. We can stop there. You see, some people are comfortable with that. Some people, they find an explanation for everything that they see, where they put God, survival, spirits aside, and they are happy with that. Some people, they are not bothered to look for answers, to go beyond that, right? The same way, we don't need to think about every cell in our body, how the cell is working, what the cell is doing in our body, to, carry on living. I have trillions of cells here. They are there functioning, but I'm not even aware of that. You see? But when there's something wrong, when I go through a particular situation, I go to a doctor and he said, we have cancer. How does it work? What's going on? Then he will explain, You see, the cells may spread. Oh, will they spread? So we start to think about something that is just beyond the ordinary. And I think this is the position of a lot of materialists, They don't need to go beyond unless they are naturally spiritualized. They have this urge to feed themselves with spiritual issues, And some spirits are still, I would say, in a latent state, dormant, and they live their life in a mechanical way. And to live a life in a mechanical way, you don't need certain spiritual things. But when we pass beyond that, then we start to, think, I would say, on a different level. And then we start to ask ourselves quite a few things. And we see that what we know is not enough to give us answers for that. And yes, it's natural with all the technological development, with all the social situations that we have today, that we are forced basically to concentrate on our material life. And it's up to each one of us to make the effort to go beyond that. Our lives today are more comfortable than they were in the past, much more comfortable. We have so many resources, you see. So why do I need to pray to God to bring me health if I can take a jab and avoid a terrible disease, you see? So some people will stop there. I can take a jab and then that will prevent me from dying from this or that. That's fine. So don't need to think, beyond that, because I'm anesthetized by the material condition that we have. But when things change, and we know they change in life, and death, certainly, no matter how wonderful, smooth life we've had, one day we'll die. And that is a crucial moment. Some people, they think about that. Some people, they avoid. They just push aside and say, no, I'll die, full stop. I don't need to think about that. It will come, full stop. That's the end. So why do you think? That's why I see there's still room for materialism. But I think slowly when people get bored of material comfort, and they'll some at least will start to ask themselves, is this enough? Am I getting the best of life, or am I getting just one side that sooner or later will end? And that's how I perceive, you see. And why we have some materialists that are materialists, because they have nothing better to believe or accept. But it is, to a certain extent, a personal choice to stay in a comfortable zone, as would say, unless something happens. And we know that life is constantly bringing us some warnings, some lessons, and then we check, how strong are the pillars that we built to support these difficult moments. Like an earthquake. If you haven't built your house prepared for an earthquake, then when it comes, you'll just fall down. They feel a vague aspiration about the future, but this future has been presented to them in a light that their reason cannot accept. Hence their doubts and therefore disbelief. For them, this belief is not based on any kind of theory. As soon as you present them with something rational, they will eagerly accept it. They are capable of understanding us, since they are closer to us than they might suppose. With the first group, do not talk about revelation or angels or heaven, because they will not understand you. Instead, place yourselves on their own turf and prove to them, first of all, that the laws of physiology are powerless to explain everything. The rest will follow later. We see that a lot. We see some people doing, they go to a point and said, well, what are you observing here? This and that. How do you explain that? Well, see? So their beliefs, their theories are not enough to explain certain situations. We have a case, for instance, near-death experience or brain activity, when basically what we see is, a brain is dead, but still there is activity. Now they are building new theories, new explanations for that. Some people, they need to go step by step, bottom up, in order to start to, arrive at certain conclusions that people who are more spiritualists, more spiritualized, I would say, already know. And I think these phenomena like near-death experience and out-of-body experience and so many situations that people are faced with, they that will actually help them see or even revise what they supposed to be the truth. And our sciences, when honestly carried out, done, will lead us there. But it's a very low pace, you see, because every new pace, people will find a materialistic explanation for that. But then there will be, the day will come when, only material explanation for what we are seeing won't be enough. The situation is otherwise when this belief is not preconceived, because in that case, belief is not completely non-existent. Rather, it remains as a latent sprout that has been choked by weeds, but which a spark can bring back to life. These individuals are like blind persons who have received their sight and are happy at seeing the light, or like a shipwreck, victim shipwreck victim who has been tossed alive preserved. We see that also with people from different religions, where they come across some of the Spiritist teachings. They like it. They want to know more, but they don't want to abandon their previous religious beliefs or something. So we see that, on the one hand, they find comfort in what they are getting from Spiritism, but on the other hand, they are not, fully into it. And they remain, a bit here, a bit there, as they find convenient for them. '22. Alongside the materialists per se, there is a third class of disbelievers who, although they are at least spiritualists in name, are no less resistant towards Spiritism. These are ill-willed disbelievers. They would feel annoyed if they had to believe because they feel that it would interfere with their tranquility in materialistic pleasures. They are afraid that their ambition might be condemned, along with their selfishness and the human vanities that they love to indulge in. They shut their eyes in order not to see, and they plug their ears in order not to hear. We can only pity them. You see, some religions, you can get rid of your mistakes, your sins, as they are called, just by confessing, right? You go to confession, you confess your sins, then you're free. Okay? Isn't it easy? Isn't it a nice way to get rid of our imperfections? Would you rather believe that you have to come back and pay back to life whatever you've taken inappropriately, and have to show, to prove that you have overcome that imperfection? Or just go, and in 15 minutes, you're rid of your imperfections. So some people say, no, my reason tells me that it makes most sense that, yes, if I took and, made a mistake, then I'll have to make the amendments for that. But some people say, no, oh, do I have to come back and pay back? Oh, I'd rather, believe that I can get rid of that very, very quickly, very easily. And, well, it's up to each one of us. It's like, would you rather get a job, or get some money from the government and remain where you are? Some people say, no, I want to earn through my own efforts, through my job. I want to go up and progress and get better. But some people are just happy and said, no, I don't need to work. I just get that, help from the government or from this or from that. And I'm fine with that. So, and, something similar in our beliefs. And sometimes I'm happy in accepting these in this way because it's convenient. I don't need to abandon my materialistic pleasures, as Kardec puts here, Hi, Elsalie.
Hi, I miss you. Oh, but now I am here and I'm glad that I'm here. And this is the 22. This materialist, I think I think they are the worst in the 21 because they know what something have in another side. They know, but they exactly what you say there. They don't want to change. because I say, because many years ago, we try to take what's it, bird, tables, small tables on the street, and a place in the center of Stockholm, and they try, really try, and me, another colleague, and another one, and they try to talk about, not to say, oh, you must come here, come here. No, 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 no. They come and, oh, see, and they ask about something, I can get. Because, not only they take our book and we run to spring it to. No, wait till at the this little. Somebody said it was very, very common to say, I, I know that, but oh, I have my life all structure, I would say in English, everything is all right, my routine, and I don't want to change. Say it's Swedish people, because it was Swedish we talked to him, and I presented Swedish book there, Medium's book, and say Anders book, or Spirit's book, and another book, and Evangel too, Gospel too. And they said they was they dishonest? They was honest. They said, I think I don't think so. Exactly what say here, that they might be condemned along with their. So they use concept. Why don't they don't want to change life?
You were right. Yeah.
But between them come people that would like to know better, more, and then try to come to the Spiritist Center too. But it was and come.
Yeah. Thanks, Osali. Yes, you're right. Some people, they have their life so well organized that they say there's no room for anything else. You see, I'm happy the way it is. I'm prepared to live my whole life, with this structure here. It's fine. I don't need new ideas. I don't need, spiritual beings to be part of my life. I'm happy the way I am. We have to respect, to a certain extent, because each one of us is at a certain level. I said some of us have this spiritual drive, we are naturally more spiritualized. We need to feed ourselves from spiritual ideas and, you see, transcendent ideas that go beyond the material life, to be in the world without belonging to the world. But some spirits are happy with that. But the time will come when they will open their eyes, and they will see, they will find these needs. We know that material life is only temporary, no matter, how long it may last, it's only temporary. And so how will the spirit find, itself? We know the reality will demand new perspectives from all of us. Even we who think that, oh, I have the ultimate belief in spirit, reincarnation, and so on. Who knows what, we are not seeing. Perhaps we are happy, with what we found, and we are not seeing even beyond. We are not condemning everyone, but just, bringing some situations that we see. And of course, we need to respect people's free will. We need to understand that each one of us is at different level. Some of us are spiritists who remain at the entrance, at the main door. We don't step in, we don't go fully into it. Well, we don't go wide. We don't have the opportunity. No, we do. We have every Spiritist center in every corner. We have an opportunity to join study groups, and to be, very much, how do I say, benefit a great deal from it. But what we received is fine. It's already okay. To believe in spirits, to know that my prayers will be heard, are fine. Some people, they prefer just to believe that if I accept Jesus as the Savior, I'm saved. You see, Jesus is the Savior, so I'm saved. That's all that is required from me. But all these are lessons that we are going through. We see some spirits who said, oh, I spent a whole life without realizing this. Why didn't I learn this before? I had to learn that once, I died and woke up on the other side to realize that how much time I have wasted. So we see, spirits in every situation. Of course, we try to share our views, our knowledge, the information that we have, our experience as well. But, each one has his or her moment of awakening. And that should be respected. The important thing is when they wake up, perhaps, try to make sure that they'll have spiritual teachings as an option for them. Okay? I'm not happy with my life. No, I've lived all these, and what's the purpose of that? Why live materialistic life for so long, and where have I arrived? What have I gained? You see, some people, they get to this point, and so then they see, wow, there are other doors. Perhaps, no, I should try this one. But, it doesn't happen at the same time for all of us. We need to go through certain experiences. We shouldn't forget that even the most materialistic person is in an incarnation under the supervision of spirits. So we see that, there is, at least from our perspective, this spiritual side of every incarnation. Okay.
Monique, can I say something?
Yeah, sure.
Something that came to my head now about the world, and me talking to a friend lately, and she's not materialist in the sense of she does believe in God, and she's quite she's Protestant, so she does believe in God and everything, but also like these understanding that the Spiritism gives to us brings us such a calm in the future. And as you say, everybody is looked after and no one really is forgotten. And we live in a world that is managed by God. And we live in a world where things that are allowed will happen for a logical reason of teaching us, giving us the opportunity to become better people altogether and evolve. But this understanding, which for me brings such a tranquility in a time now that the world is in disarray more and more, day by day, and she brings me a vision of catastrophe. And I kind of, I feel like the atmosphere of the world is in such a worry. And obviously some people do understand Jesus' teachings in a way that will also bring this catastrophic ending because of whatever is in the Bible that they cannot understand, or they cannot see in another way apart from what is literally there. So I just wanted to kind of put it out there, what came to my head, just share with you guys. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Liz. Yes, it's like learning something, how to fly an airplane, for instance. Okay, you get theoretical lessons first, and you create your own idea of what to fly an airplane is, right? And then you get full of oh, I'll do this. If that happens, I'll do that. But when you are really flying it, when you're really there in the air and you have to take action, then you see that the amount of knowledge that you had wasn't enough for the start, you see. Then you need to look around and get from other people, from their experience, what to do, what shall I do? Oh, I never expected to find myself in this situation. I don't know how to get out of it. So then you try to test, to try, different things. And I think, some of us are very good theoretical materialists or religious, spiritualists, I would say. But when the test comes, then we'll check if, what we believe is enough for us to go through the storm or not. You see, I think we are getting to this point. It's a moment of awakening as well. Because as I said, if we live a comfortable life, entire life, very comfortable, very organized, things planned, and, we have a contingency plan for everything and under control, right? Okay, we don't need to think beyond that. But when problems start to arrive, some illnesses, death in our small circle, and so we start to question ourselves, and move from the, zone of comfort. And sometimes it's necessary globally, see, a moment of awakening where we share experiences, and from the experiences of others, we also, start to open our eyes and see, wow, that could be happening here as well, or that will be here soon. You see, like the pandemic started in some places, but very soon it spread, all around the world. And then you say, wow, what is it like to be confined, in a flat or in a house without being able to go out, wearing masks? So, we start to, oh God, some people start to think about death, when they saw the imminent danger getting closer and closer. Oh, and some people panic. They just panic. Oh, I'm going to die. And for some of us, they said, well, it's natural if this is my time, if it is in my plan. Okay, off I go. I've done my bit here. So we see that, what supports us in the difficult moments. And difficulties are here for that, to consolidate what we've learned, or to make us, to help us change our perception of things and start to look for things beyond, the small corner that we have prepared for ourselves. Okay. 23. So as not to fail to mention it, we will point out a fourth category that may be called self-interested or bad faith disbelievers. They know very well what to think about Spiritism, but they openly condemn it for personal interest reasons. We have nothing to say about them, nor anything to do with them. If radical materialists are in the wrong, they at least have good faith as an excuse. We can correct them by showing them their error. But with this last group, there is a bias that turns all arguments to dusts. Time will take care of opening their eyes, and will show them where their true interests lie, perhaps at their own cost. Because being unable to hinder the expansions of the truth, they will be swept along by the current, together with interests they had sought to safeguard. Yes, Kardec places this small group as a fourth class, those who have self-interest in denying or in what they believe. It is convenient for me to believe in this. And we see that a lot in politics as well. They are with someone today, tomorrow they are with the opposite side because it is convenient to them for their own interests. And people do the same with religions, with teachings. They believe or they condemn according to their personal interests and what they gain from by doing that. And Kardec said, nothing you can do about this type. At least the radical ones, they are sincere. They show who they are, what they believe. But these ones, they are basically dishonest, you see. They go where their interests are, not where their creed or their, spiritual side is leading them. 24. In addition to these overall categories of opponents, there are many nuances, among which may be counted disbelievers out of cowardice, who will find courage when they see that others have not been harmed by Spiritism. You see, misconceptions, people who have a wrong impression about Spiritism. They believe, oh, you deal with these, you deal with that, and they are afraid, but they are not also bothered to go and see what it really is. And as Caldas says here, they are disbelievers out of cowardice to be able to study and see what it is. Sometimes we see how people say, oh, have you seen about this book about black magic? Oh, black magic. No. Oh, this is terrible. This is this is that. Well, at least let me know what that is. I can't just base myself in wrong ideas. Oh, have you heard about don't know what? Well, let me see what it is, to have my own opinion about it. I can just run away from things because, oh, what I know from these is what you know is really true. And Kardec is saying people believe that they're going to be harmed by accepting Spiritist ideas or, Spiritism. And they run away because they think it's something, from the devil. Oh, it's the work of the devil. And they don't make the effort to go and see what it really is. Disbelievers out of religious scruples, whom an enlightened study will teach that Spiritism is supported by the very fundamentals of religion itself. We see some people here, they are Catholic and Protestants, but especially Protestants, that everything that they do that they are not sure about, they say it's the work of the devil. And when you say that we follow Jesus's teachings are our guide in this life, then they, get a sort of a surprised. They say, really? Yes. Oh, you believe in Jesus? Yes, we do. Oh, you believe in his moral teachings? Yes, we do. We try to follow. We make tremendous effort to follow that because we know it's not easy, but it is the salvation, as it were. So they start to, look different. And because they, had these religious scruples, they believed that, Spiritism was something that wasn't, from God in their own words, And we see that a lot. So Spiritism is supported by the very fundamentals of religion itself, that it respects all belief systems, and that some of its effects are the awakening of the religious sentiments in those who do not already have them, and the strengthening of them in those who are irresolute. Additionally, there are disbelievers out of pride, out of a contrary spirit, negligence, frivolousness, etc. Yeah, some people, they like to be on the, as Caldas says, contrary spirits. They, they don't know what you're talking about, but they are against it, you see. So they are always against everyone else's opinions, religion, whatever. Negligence. Don't need religion, I don't need frivolousness, etc. You name it. And so many reasons. But as we've mentioned before, everything is an experience for us. Even when things go very well, say, well, that person is so materialistic and has a nice life. Everything goes so smooth. Why? Where is God's justice in that? Shouldn't that person going through hell to be able to open his eyes and see? Well, perhaps after going through these long, smooth periods and remaining dormant in religious terms, when the person awakens and looks back, perhaps the person will find the resources to change, looking at the wasted time, how much time the person wasted. I said, gosh, I can't believe I wasted so much. I had so many opportunities and did nothing about that. Just, shoved it away and then that perhaps will give, the necessary impulse for the person to change. Like Paul of Tarsus, when he had his eyes open and realized what he had done, the mistakes from the past kept on propelling him forward. He recognized that, he acknowledged that. He said, oh, I have so many sins, in inverted commas, to, answer for. So no matter where, if I'm stoned, persecuted, whatever, almost like, I deserve that, in inverted commas, meaning I have to make, a lot for the mistakes from the past, and now, so many amendments to make. It's more or less like that, the person looks back and said, I had such a comfortable life. God was so patient with me, waited for me patiently, and doing that, I had a nice, tranquil life. And look now, you see? Or the contrary, the person who said, oh, I had so many opportunities where the difficulties were invitations, and I just get so revolted against and, did nothing about that. And now look where I find myself at. So we don't know, each case is a case. And if we believe that God is just and love, we know that, we will find ourselves in the situations that are important to us individually. Um, 25. Let us not forget a category that we shall call disbelievers out of deception. It includes those who have gone from being exaggeratedly confident to disbelief because they have suffered deception. Thus, being disheartened, they have abandoned and rejected everything. They are like those who deny Spiritism in good faith because they feel they have been misled. This is nonetheless the result of both an incomplete study of Spiritism and a lack of experience. If there are those who are deceived by spirits, it is usually because they ask them improper questions, or ones they cannot answer, or because they are not enlightened enough to distinguish truth from error. Also, many people only see Spiritism as a new form of divinization and think that spirits exist for the purposes of fortune telling. In fact, frivolous and mocking spirits do not waste the opportunity to entertain themselves at these individuals' expense. Thus, they promise girls that they will find marriage and assure the ambitions that they will receive honors, inheritances, and hidden treasures, and so on and so forth. The result, the frequent and unpleasant deceptions that serious and prudent persons always know how to avoid. You see, something that is very common. You find Spiritism and you start to follow, and that becomes part of your life. And apparently, your life starts to get more difficult, harder. You start to face some difficulties in life. And some people rush to say, oh, that's punishment from God because you became Spiritist. You see? And then there are messages that we see, there's a passage in the gospel, I can't remember exactly where, but when Jesus says to the apostle, I chose you to go first, to go ahead. And those who go ahead are the ones that clean the way, they open the way for the others. Of course, that we require more from them, but the rewards will be also greater for them if they manage to do the job. So, and looking again at the example of Paul of Tarsus, if we look at his life when he turned Christian, he became Christian. He said, of course, he had everything. He, was rich. He had a very good position within the, religious side of his community, his country, whatever. A beautiful future ahead of him. And now look, he's a beggar. He's, out in the streets, nowhere to call his or. And why was that? Because of the type of work that he had to do. Of course, he had amendments to make, but putting that aside, he was also going ahead.
Okay.
Basically, yeah.
Well, isn't that a very materialistic idea to hold?
Which
like
one?
some of our brothers and sisters, they think that if their lives are getting really, really hard, they should do more so their lives get easier. And some religious sects even sell the idea that if you follow Christ or if you follow this or that, their lives are going to be easier. They're going to have better financial situation, and
Yeah.
so on and so on. So these I find these are like a very unrealistic and materialistic idea to be associated with you following anything religiously, because life is complicated and it will always be complicated. We are all human beings in this society, and that's a very reasonable way to think. This is not about not having problems, and even if you go and live by yourself somewhere, there is going to be a level of problems that you cannot control, which is health problems, for example. And we're always going to have problems. But when things strike us, like as you say, people start to understand the Spiritism, applying it in their lives, and trying to follow, and difficulties come about. And they say, oh, it was since I became a Spiritist. But problems were there all along. And we just need to be a bit more realistic to ourselves about this as well.
Yeah, you see some religions, they trade, material benefits for your faith. You see, you believe in Christ, or you come to the church and your life will get better. And I'm not saying churches, I'm saying so many religions that, oh, if you go to the crossroads there and do this work, then you get this in life, you get married, you get a fortune, you whatever. So the problem is we believe, as Kardec has said here, the individuals who have interest in religion, but the interest is material, it's not spiritual interest. And in the end, they get deception. Yeah. Oh, I did that so many times, and what did I get back? nothing, or the contrary, the opposite to what I expected. So, that religion is not good. Or, I'll start going to the Spiritist Center. Every week I'll go to the lectures on Fridays, and I'll do the gospel in the home. So, I'll get a nice job, a new car, a larger house. And well, no. As I said initially, we are here to learn. We are here to go through processes, to situations that will awaken us spiritually speaking, and each lesson is individual, situations that we have to go through. Sometimes it's a situation that, affects a whole community or even the whole planet, but the experience is individual going through that situation. And basically that's what life is all about. And also there are the difficulties of our physical body. We have to look after our physical body. Oh gosh, do I have to do that every day? Do I have to, go for a walk, or at least to move my body to keep me healthy? Oh, do I have to eat, good things to... So some people say, oh, but it's too much, Well, that is the price, inverted commas, for, having a physical body. But what is this experience bringing to us? You see, what are we doing about this experience? We make all these efforts to keep ourselves alive in a physical body, right? To carry it, to take it for as long as, we are supposed to take it. But the experiences that will come that are not under our control, right? These experiences are lessons for us. It's not because I'm going through a very difficult situation. It means that, oh, he's chosen the wrong religion. You see, he's gaining no material benefit because he's a spiritist. Or even within spiritism, people will say, look what he's going through. Probably, he was a terrible person in the past. His previous incarnations, he did horrible things. We don't know. Every situation is a situation, you see. So what we should see is always the spiritual essence of everything. Borrowing the words from the Little Prince, Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, what is essential is invisible to the eye. So the experiences in life, they come in a material form, a disease, financial difficulties, loss of a job, difficult family members, whatever. You see, a war in the region where we are. These are the material faces of the difficulties we have to go through. But the experience is a spiritual. You see, we should always look at the essence of that, or what is invisible in those experiences. Because sooner or later, yeah.
And also, Moni, there is the pain that is nothing to do with whatever we have done, but that is the pain of evolution, pain that will push us to new experiences and new things that we can learn because we haven't been exposed to it before.
Yeah. If you are on a long journey, you stop by the road to rest. A very quick, rest. If you decide to stay there, you'll never get where you're supposed to get. See? It may be nice. Oh, it's much nicer to be here at the shade of this tree with the water nearby, and I'll stay here indefinitely, you see? But that is not the purpose. You should just get some, rest, but stand up and carry on going, moving. Get back to the difficulties of walking, and facing all the difficulties that the road may present if you want to get where you're supposed to get. See? Right, we stop here, write it down, and I'll hand over to whoever is going to do the irradiation.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, and let's send a special thought to our dear Cherry. She's apparently, ill, and let's do it. I'll just stop recording.